is the lesson that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. We'll keep on bouncing that ball until it's perfect. At this point in time, we can pull that up a little bit just so you can see it. I'm going to slide it down so I can see my whole timeline. And if I can't see it all, I can scroll my mouse button so that I can see the whole thing. What's going to end up happening here is I'm going to be sliding over to create a new window. I'm going to click on, I notice I still have that annotate tool. Click up here on my select arrow. If we want to create a new window, I'm just going to go down here and look for the crosshairs. I don't want an arrow, okay? Arrow's just going to just pull this up. I want a crosshair. If I get the crosshair, I can click and drag it to the right, and then I get that double arrow. It's creating a new window. All right, I want lots of room over here because what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this window over here from a 3D viewport, which is where it's set right now. I can tell because it has that little 3D viewport icon. I'm going to change that to the graph editor. Do that now. How's that look? Does that look fun? That's so exciting. I know. So I'm going to click on this little green drop down button. Okay. And if you go and click, here's the X location graph, the red one, the Y location graph. The Y location graph is green and it's a flat line because remember, I didn't do anything in the Y axis, so that never changes throughout the entire length of it. Here's my playback head up here. So you'll notice that this is along the keyframe interval. Okay, so this is over time. Okay, all right. Then we have the Z location. What is that? Do you see that blue curve? That's the curve of our bouncing ball as it changes through time, basically plotting all of the Z values over time. And what's really cool about this is that we can kind of pull this over a little bit, slide that up, and zoom in by scrolling on a smaller section of it, which I'm going to do. I'm going to come down here to this bottom right here and notice that this is kind of set up like a U. And when balls bounce, they actually go in a V here. So I wonder if there's a way that I can kind of get these. I can click on these and I can move them around. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong one. Look at, I clicked on some other curve. It says it's the Z scale. So I'm gonna hit Control Z. Whoops, didn't want to hit that. So I might have to click on my Z location. I might have to scroll in a little bit more so that I can make sure that I click on the right one. So I can grab on the correct handle. There we go. Grab that node and maybe I can move that up and maybe I can pull that handle a little bit so that it points towards this node down here, which I think that node's in a pretty good location because it's going to snap to the next metric, the next frame. It's not going to just move over nicely. That looks pretty good. So this one down here, I'm guessing is my horizontal ball or my flattened squashed ball. So let me see if I come over here and I put that there. Yep. So you can see that that spot is the lowest point on my curve. So I can grab this one and I can kind of bring it up similar to where that one's at. And I can match these up a little bit so that the curve is more V-shaped. Aha. Little more, whoops, I grabbed the wrong one. Control Z. Look at that. There's two of them there. There you go. Move that up here. So now I have more of a V at the bottom. So it'll look more like it's kind of bouncing that way. This might even be able to go more like that. And how would that one change? Let's see what happens when I even move them over a little bit more. And see. Let's scroll back. Let's just watch it and see what it does. Maybe we'll like it better. Maybe we won't. Let's see. That gave it a nice pop when it bounced. So I'm liking that. Okay, the other thing you can do to make it more exaggerated for effect is grab the handle up here and you can round that a little bit so that it has a little bit of a, you know, a curve at the top, and then the top doesn't need to be a point. You could also grab that if you wanted to and just move it down a little bit. That might make it look a little rounder instead of being quite so pointy at the top. So that is something to think about, making that look more rounded. However, I don't know if I've kind of messed up the timing at that point. I might move this back down a little bit. Okay, let's just check it out and see. So move my playhead over here to 1 and press play and see. And I can change my end frame to like 20. Well, I could change my end frame to 30. I'll do 40. So it's only playing through that little space right there. So look at the picture over here. You know, this is details. It really does make a difference in how awesome your animation looks. So let's try to get this one to kind of match up with what we had for that one. So maybe this comes over a touch more. This one's a little bit lower, so I'm going to pull that up a little bit and yeah, move that over a little. Bring that up a little. Bring that up and bring that up. Okay, so I think that looks good. You can grab your handles and adjust those curves if you need to. Let's see, do I want to adjust these handles? Make it a little more rounded as it comes up to the top. Looks like I've got more points and rounded tops. Let's see if it makes a difference in our actual animation. I will slide this over and slide this over a little bit so I can still kind of see it both. I'm going to put my end point at 140 and let's press play. It definitely looks pretty refined. It looks good. So once you've learned how to use the graph editor to smooth out your curves and make your touchdowns more pointy, you can go ahead and stop, take a break, and come back for the next video.